All right, here with Coach Hebrink, week 2 of the 2020 season. Coach, let's start out with last year a little bit. It was the season that was. Um, my question to you is as each game went by, because I know, like, for baseball, we had one really good season. We were 14, and I know our coaches were trying to put in extra press. As the season went on and we progressed, it seemed like we were all doing more, putting in more as the wins kept piling up. Is that something that you kind of notice with yourself and your coaching staff and the players after each passing game and each passing victory through the season? Did you just kind of notice just a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more? Anything like that, or was it always business as usual?
I'd say that it changes as the season goes on. When we start the season, we're thinking about the conditioning part of it. We're thinking about getting our timing down. We're running through the plays. We're working on our skill, our technique, those fundamentals. And then as the year goes on, it doesn't mean that that stuff is not important because it
Right.
still is. But it ends up being more of a focused time period, whereas you end up spending more time on the mental part of the game, the preparation. When you get in the playoffs, especially, you've often have played those teams already
True.
earlier in the year.
Yep.
And so when you come back that second time around, you have to have a slightly different game plan because you've watched them throughout the season,
Right.
and you have to know that they're going to make some adjustments as well. And so whatever we showed them in that first game, and even those games prior to us meeting them, they're going to prepare for that.
Right.
So what are we going to have to be able to counter that?
That's right.
And so I would say that that's kind of how it changes throughout the season. Is the focus part of it has to step up a little bit more,
Yep.
and you still have to stay sharp. You still have to have your timing, but it's that physical part of the game. We didn't hardly hit at all as the year went on. I
Right.
mean, we were running through our plays. We're making sure we're in the right alignment. We're where we need to be. But as far as the contact and that sort of stuff, we hardly had any of that as the year went on.
And as the games went by, you didn't need to do that. You were able to focus on other things because it wasn't an issue.
Well, we want to make sure our guys
Or
come
healthy
game
too.
time, they
Yeah.
feel good.
Yep.
We don't want them to go into a game where they feel beat up. And
Right.
so they need to keep their conditioning up, but we want them to be physically feeling good.
All right, so one more thing back to last year. I asked Jaden the same thing, and I'll ask you guys. Undefeated regular season, undefeated through the sections, a section championship. You went on to lose a tough game against, well, team that ended up losing the state championship game, almost won it. What did the season mean to you last year, and what do you think it meant to the community as well?
Well, I think it kind of goes without saying that as far as that whole community atmosphere and the following that we had, how much we appreciated that. And
It was a lot of fun.
it's fun to be able to go to, whether you're going to a restaurant or a gas station or whatnot, and people are talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever a team is doing better, there's a different feel in the school as well and the whole community.
Absolutely.
It seems that people just have a little extra bounce in their step. They have a little more excitement. And we certainly felt that, and we appreciated all that support that we had from that as well. And of course, everyone that has followed the history here knows that we had some rough years there, to
Yep.
say the least, and to see the guys keep battling and whatnot, and get to that point where you could have some success in the postseason. And even a few years back, we were able to make it to the section finals.
Yes.
Came up short there against a really good team as well. But to be able to get to that next step and be able to get into that state tournament, yeah, that was a blast.
So now we've got new year, not necessarily a new team. You graduated a lot of talent, but there's a lot of returning talent. There's some starters that people probably saw out there last week that didn't see a whole lot of playing time last year. Talk a little bit about what people can expect to see more about this year's team. Maybe slightly different than last year, but what are they going to see with this group?
Well, you will certainly notice some changes if you're really following it close. Not only just from a personnel, of course, you're going to lose seniors every year.
Right.
And you're going to try to run a similar system so there isn't this huge turnover year to year. But at the same time, depending on what you have for personnel, you need to be able to tweak your playbook a little bit
Exactly.
different.
Yep.
And we lost some key players last year. We really did. We had some really nice seniors that we lost as they graduated. But fortunately, we're in a position where we have some really young guys coming up that are looking really good,
Yep.
and maybe they haven't had a lot of experience, but they'll get there. And
But you got good leadership too with the senior group you have.
right now, and that's what I was just going to mention, that those seniors that we have now, they've put in a lot of time. They've been around for quite a while. They had a lot of experience last year. And even though their roles might be slightly different, so for example, Brandon Holberg, I mean, he was a dynamic player for us last year, whether he was running back or tight end or wide receiver. And now we want him to be handling the ball pretty much every snap at quarterback. And he has a strong arm. He's accurate with it. He has to get comfortable back there a little bit, but that's going to come. But he can run.
What Craig and I talked about is you've got athletes in that group that can play different positions, who can tackle, they can hit, they can throw, they can catch, they can run, they can do it all. You've got athletes to choose from.
Well, just like that, when you just mentioned here last week, we had a rough one there where we had guys that were banged up. And, fortunately, in Brandon's situation, twisted his knee, and it didn't look good there for a while. And he was ready to come back in early in the second quarter, but we held him out to make sure throughout the halftime he was healthy and good, and he showed us at halftime he could move. But prior to that then, Aiden Gustafson, who is our second-string quarterback, who also is our starting wide receiver, he had twisted his ankle, so he's out. So now we're already looking at our third-string quarterback. But when you mention athletes, Riley Ashburn.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, Riley, when you think of an athlete, that's Riley. And he stepped in there. He didn't hesitate one bit. And if we didn't have that type of leadership, that game could have gone south in a hurry. And he did a great job stepping in there.
Well, and speaking of the Red Rock game, a win is a win. It's a tough team on the road. Red Rock's always had a solid team. You guys have been able to beat them now 3 times in a row. Prior to that, they had gotten you guys 4 times in a row, so you've been able to flip the script there. But kind of nice. You went on the road. It's been how long since you guys have played? You got the win. Just kind of real quick, your thoughts on what you liked and what needs to improve ahead of tomorrow night.
Well, the big thing is the guys found a way to win. They found a way to get through it. And even though we had some of those guys going down from injuries, ankle sprains, cramps, and whatnot, kept battling back with it. And so that said a lot about the team. Red Rock will always play us tough. I mean, the coaching staffs, they know each other really well.
And they got gamers.
They do. They can play. And so they were a tough opponent for us to start out with, and so we were happy we were able to get away with a win.
All right, speaking of another win, looking for another win this week at Sleepy Eye St. Mary's. You got them at home. And what can we expect to see from Sleepy Eye tomorrow night?
Well, they're going to play aggressive. They're going to come right at us. They have some good size, and we expect them to bring a whole lot of pressure. And we think that we can counter that. We think that we're able to mix in some different plays to try to defeat that. But
at least it's not going to be an ice bowl like it was last year
no,
down there.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Oh, man.
But it should turn out to be pretty nice. It's been really windy this week. Hopefully the wind will be down. And
it's looking that way somewhat for now. Maybe we'll see. We'll cross our fingers. But, hey, no matter what, you got to go out there and win.
Right, and whatever they're playing in, we're playing in. So, we'll just look at it that way, and we'll have plays set up, whether it's going to be windy or calm or depending on what we can do. So, but we expect them to play hard.
No different than what you guys are going to do, right?
Our guys will be ready.
Always. All right, now, speaking of being ready, this is kind of the end part that we usually do. I've done it the past few years. It's kind of like 3 questions with the coach. This week, they're not really necessarily serious questions. I'm calling this 3 questions with the coach plus 1 style. Okay? So I'm going to give you a scenario, and you only get to pick one thing.
You know I really like this part, Dean. Right?
That's good. I'm glad. All right, so again, this is plus 1 style for 3 questions with the coach. Number 1 is you get a brand new car. Okay? The only problem is it's only got basic features, so no power locks, no power windows, no CD player, no XM radio. Okay, you've got power steering and stuff, but no heated seats, no leather seats. It's all basic. Okay, you only get to add 1 feature. What is it?
I'm gonna probably go with heated seats.
The heated seats. Got it. I like heated seats too. I got no problem cranking the window down. You know?
I've had to do that before, and
Yeah.
that'd be all right.
Yeah, first car, that's the way it was. One side didn't go down. You had to kind of start the passenger. I'd have to have a buddy kind of start it for me, and then we crank it and be able to get it up. You know how the fun with the old cars were.
Oh, sure.
All right, number 2, we're camping. All right, you've got all the basics. I'm going to give you a tent. You've got a sleeping bag and a pillow. You've got a cooler full of food or drink, but that's it. What one other item do you got to add? Is it sunscreen? Is it bug spray? Is it whatever it may be? What do you got to add to your camping trip?
All right, so if it's really hot out, we're going to have a generator so that we can get some good. Yeah, we got to get some airflow in that tent, and preferably even bring with a portable air conditioner.
There you go. Craig would probably be liking that one with his portable generator. I know he helps me out with that when we can't go in the press box. All right, last one. Okay, I'm giving you a perfectly grilled, juicy 3rd-pound burger patty. All right, I'm putting a bun. I'm putting it in between a bun. All right, so this isn't just your run-of-the-mill hockey puck burger. This is a really good hamburger. You only get to add one more item outside of the burger and the bun. What are you putting on it?
All right, so if it already has the good juice to it, it already has the good flavor to it. All right, then I can get by without ketchup, so I'm going with cheese.
That has been probably, as I've been talking to people, cheese has been the number one with that, so long as it's just that fresh off the grill and juicy.
Right.
If it's a hockey puck, it'd
ketchup.
be there you go. It'd be the ketchup. I like it. Coach, thank you, and good luck.
Hey, thanks a lot, Dean.